Okay. Hey guys. Obviously, I'm sure that was a fun game to watch. It was a fun game to be a part of. Not as much when we were down 11, but we have an incredibly resilient bunch, as much as any group I've ever coached. Um, so I give our players a lot of credit. I love, this Iowa team's tremendous. They are really, really good. And Fran does a great job. They're talented, very well coached, extremely hard to guard. We knew they were going to make some runs. We had to be able to weather some runs and find a way to score ourselves. I think if you can't score against them, you're not going to beat them. So our guys played with great poise, particularly when we were down. And I think probably for that, I'm most proud. But players win games. I thought we had guys, Kyle's threes late, Justin's threes late, and Dwayne's free throw late was important, but a lot of plays throughout the stretch of the game.
We'll start it out with Jared Smalley, WCMH.
Chris, congrats. A thought on the plan with Garza. Obviously, it wasn't like he was physically taken out of the game. He was allowed to play physically. But what went right in your plan to eliminate him as much as you possibly could?
They put him in such great spots and move him around. We mixed up our coverages, Jared, between trapping and what we call digging, ball side. We just had to he had to have a body on him because he's the most difficult matchup in the country. So I just think as much as any, I thought Zed's minutes were really critical. And then I thought Kyle's mobility against him and his fight was essential for us.
All righty, we'll go next to Patrick Murphy, 24/7.
Chris, if you can pinpoint one thing that you thought was the best thing you guys did to get the win tonight, what would it be?
Poise. Yeah, our poise when we got down 11. And I thought we defended really well the last from about the 10-minute mark of the second half. I thought our defense just got better. And I thought it helped that we weren't as in much foul trouble to start, to be able to go down the closing stretch and not put them on the line. So but I thought our defense down the stretch, listen, our team, as we've shown, they've got big time guts and they've got courage and they made big shots. So that'd probably be number 3, but I thought our resilience and our defense there in the last 8 minutes.
Has that poise grown throughout the season? I mean, could you guys have done this type of game earlier in the year?
No. I think you saw us the second game of the season. Wasn't real pretty for any of us, especially the head coach. No, we couldn't have done this. There's no way. We've gotten better and guys have gotten better individually, and we've gotten better playing together. And our defense, we got a lot to continue to improve on, but no, there's no way. No way.
All right, next up, we'll go to Adam Jardy, Columbus Dispatch.
Chris, Dwayne talked about being stuck on the bus today for about an hour and talking about like best shooting guards in the NBA. Kind of a rough travel day all around, but what was it like in having a situation like a bonding moment like that before a big game? Can you make something out of that? Can you get a vibe or a feeling out of that you can carry into a game?
Yeah, I don't know, Adam. They had a good time with it. It wasn't quite an hour. It's probably Dwayne exaggerating a little bit, which he can be prone to do for those of us that know Dwayne. But yeah, Dwayne leads the charge there in the back of the bus with those kind of discussions. So they had a good time with it. We were caught in, at the bottom of the hill and a bit of a blizzard, light conditions. And the fine people here helped. They brought snow plows and shovels, and they did a great job taking care of us. It was probably about 45 minutes where we had to wait. But, I think, maybe this group has a really special way, and I've said that from the beginning of the season that they have a really special way about them. So perhaps in some ways that galvanized us a little bit.
And CJ had 9 assists tonight, which I didn't even realize until Dwayne mentioned it. But it looks like he's maybe getting a little more comfortable, maybe shaking off the rust from having missed those games. What did you get from him, and how important was he in a night when you knew you needed to score a lot to beat these guys.
Yeah, you really do, Adam. You have to score the ball. I think Jay Billis mentioned that on the post game when you really do have to score the ball against these guys, or else you can't beat them, Adam. They're just too good offensively. So, as a coach, I'll take some blame for our defensive errors. But I think you got to score the ball. And then once we were able to put enough stops together, I thought that allowed us to make, get a little bit of once we could string some stops together, we thought we could score enough. But you got to score against one of the best offensive teams I've coached against. You got to be able to score the ball.
All right, next up, Bill Landis, The Athletic.
Hey, Chris, I know you guys did a good job kind of collectively against Luka, but in the moments when it was kind of Zed versus Luka, those were really kind of entertaining physical battles, I think, just to kind of get positioning. What's it like to see a freshman not really back down at all when he's going against the guy who might be the best player in the country?
Yeah, he battled. He really did battle, Bill. He's shown that all year. He's a big kid, right? He's 260, and he's strong, and he's naturally physical, and he has long arms. So I thought he was able to just disrupt enough of his shots, even when he had shots around the rim. I thought his length bothered him just enough. But I thought standing his ground a couple times. I thought the play where he got the loose ball. I mean, this had to be a fun game. I keep saying that. This had to be a fun game to watch. A lot of offense, guys battling. Give them credit. I thought that was a kind of a fun game within the game there between, an elite player and a young kid who was fighting.
And I know in this league, you never sort of rest on your laurels because it's going to be a tough night tonight, but you guys are playing probably about as well as you've played since you've been here. And you're doing it seemingly without anybody kind of really playing above their head. You just sort of have everybody kind of doing what they do, it seems like. Does that make it any more encouraging to know that you are playing this well and you have guys doing things that look sort of sustainable for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I think it's a good observation. I think guys are playing to their strengths, and I think we have to keep doing that. You look at a guy like Michi Johnson today, he really stemmed the tide for us a little bit when we were on our heels a little bit there and at the end of the first half by just making a couple shots and then providing some defensive activity. Gene gave us good minutes. I think, we've seen that, right? We wouldn't have won a couple games without Seth Towns for sure in this last stretch. And we've had different bench guys step up, and it's been good to see. And I agree with you. I thought we had guys kind of do what they do. And, I'm not saying Kyle Young's going to turn in and make, 4 threes a game, but I think he's starting to show us what I think he's starting to show maybe everybody else what we've seen every day in practice and how clean his shooting looks. So it's good to see for that young man. It's great to see.
All righty, next up, Colin Hass-Hill, 11 Warriors.
Chris, those Justin Orange threes down near the end of the game, and then the Dwayne threes, when you guys were down 11, were both sort of two moments when you went to two guys who didn't really have it going, but they really came through for you. What is it about those two guys or your coaching staff's confidence in them and those kind of moments where, even if they don't really have things going, you feel like you can trust them?
Yeah, Colin, I tell you, you're right. Justin struggled a little bit making shots early, right? I think he was feeling that a little bit, but he's such a confident kid. And he came in hunting. Give him credit. He came in hunting. He came in really confident. He came in hunting shots, and Ryan Peden put him in great positions a couple times with a couple of his calls from the bench. Fantastic positions with a couple of those threes. But give Justin credit, man. I thought he came in and gave us he was hunting, man. He just came in, and it was great to see. For a minute there, I thought, do we roll with the combination we have and leave that group out there? I think at the end of the day, Colin, it was the fact that I do really believe in Justin. And then one of the things I think I've learned is when we play fatigued, when a couple of our guys play fatigued, Dwayne, EJ, it really does affect their play. So I've got to keep them fresh down the stretch.
And then, you talked about the need to score blow for blow with them a little bit. What was the most impressive, the most important thing that you guys did offensively tonight that allowed you to put up 89?
I think just attack their changing defenses, move the ball, 20 assists, 6 turnovers is pretty clean. I think just move the ball. And then I tell you what, Colin, I thought Justice Sewing's couple of his offensive rebounds were critical for us, which was a point of emphasis. But I just think more than anything, we were in attack mode against some of their changing defense, which we did a poor job of last year.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go next to Clay Hall, WSYX.
Hey, Chris, your game certainly travels. What does it mean to the confidence of this team to log that many good wins on the Big Ten road?
You know, Clay, I've stopped using road and home because they're all neutral. I get
Okay.
you, though. I think the fact that you're playing in a different environment does probably provide, in some ways, maybe a very slight advantage. I just think consistency of effort and performance has to be the hallmark of a good team. If you have ebbs and flows and dips, whether you're playing, especially this year, at your facility or at another facility, that it really doesn't speak well of your team. So I think as much as anything, we've had consistency of performance, Clay, and that's been really good. And I feel really good about it, whether it's been neutral against a UCLA or these type of environments that are kind of semi-neutral.
Congrats. So what's your seed tonight, Coach?
Excuse me?
What is your seed tonight?
What do you mean seed?
Seed for the tournament.
Oh, what do I think our seed is?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Right.
Clay, I have no idea. Clay, you know me by now, 3+ years here. I don't look at that stuff. Now, you could probably tell me, somebody on this call could probably tell me, but we have the hardest schedule that I've been a part of in this final 4-week stretch. So when you said seed, I that like
Yeah.
or something. I don't know. I really don't know. I think we've got a lot of basketball ahead of us. I love coaching this team and I love us getting better, but we got a big challenge on Monday versus Maryland.
Thank you, sir.
Sure thing.
All righty, we'll go next to Stephen Means, Cleveland.com.
Hey, Chris. Dwayne, obviously, he's been struggling with his shot the last couple of weeks, but then he probably hits the 2 biggest shots of the night for you guys, those 2 back-to-back threes, and it seemed like everybody else decided they wanted to make threes after that.
Yeah.
Can you just talk about the energy he brings to this team and how infectious that is, and maybe how that was mirrored and how the second half played out?
Yeah, I thought he got on a string there, Stephen, where he played with a lot of confidence, similar to maybe the Rutgers game at home a few games back, where he got on a roll. You could tell he started to really feel it. And you're right, it did spread. It gave the rest of the group a lot of confidence. That's who Dwayne is. And as long as he's taking good ones, I want him hunting. And if he's competing at the other end and hunting good shots, I'm fine with that. But I loved his confidence there in that stretch.
Does that show up in other places in his game or just in his leadership style? Like, I know he leads the chant after the game. I mean, does that show up?
I think he's a guy that he's charismatic. Dwayne's charismatic. People gravitate to him. So that's why he's got to make sure that he's about the right stuff, but he's incredibly charismatic as a person. So I'm sure it is infectious. Before we go into—
All right, we've got time for just one last question.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
let me just, before we go into the last question, I do want to say one thing, if I could. We wore shirts today that say a racism, and it was in honor of John McClendon. John McClendon was a coach that is now, the school is now North Carolina Central University. And back in 1944, they played in kind of a secret game. And he was an African-American coach and really a trailblazer in a lot of ways. And his story is really a fantastic story and certainly a part of college basketball. He was an NAIA coach for a number of years. But I think as we go through this, and so our country's went through so many things, you know, I have a young man, he's my age, so I guess we won't call him a young man. He's a little younger than me, on our staff, Terry Johnson, who I just believe in at a really high level. And I believe he deserves an opportunity. Terry has handled our defense from Butler through Ohio State. He's been a part of every team that we've had that's went to the NCAA tournament or advanced in the NCAA tournament. He's got an unbelievable relationship with guys. And part of the reason that I feel compelled to work so hard in this job is to help guys have opportunities. And I really believe that he deserves an opportunity. And, you know, part of what we're doing with this particular game and John McClendon is bringing awareness to, I think, hopefully increased opportunities for African-American coaches in our profession. And particularly, I think Terry Johnson is very deserving of one. So I appreciate you allowing me to indulge for a minute on that point. I just believe that, you know, he's not a self-promoter. And in this business sometimes, and probably maybe in your business too, if you're not a self-promoter, sometimes it gets you. But he is a guy who is an excellent basketball coach. And anybody who's played for Terry Johnson or coached with him feel the same way.
Awesome. We'll just do one last question. We'll go to Bruce Hooley. Bruce.
Chris, you've talked before about the need to score tonight, and it's a game Seth doesn't score. I'm intrigued by your feel for knowing the time you had Gene Brown in the game to take threes is not the time that most people would think you have Gene Brown in the game to take threes.
Yeah.
And you just have this kind of innate feel. Some games it's Musa, some games it's Seth, some games you got 20 points and about 10 boards and a bunch of assists off your bench tonight. Like, is this stuff calculated because of matchups before a game, or how much of this kind of stuff, and we've seen it with Gene against UCLA and other games with different guys, how much of this is you feeling it in the moment and playing a hunch?
Yeah, Bruce, that's a lot of it, Bruce. Now, I do think there are games where I go in with every game I go in with a certain rotation in mind. Now, this team is different, as you know, Bruce, because we do have guys that are kind of 9, 10, 11 that are somewhat similar in their impact. And so, you know, I don't know that I always get it right. I think what I'm trying to do is reward guys who have worked in practice and deserve an opportunity, and as much as possible, trying to keep everybody engaged. Again, Seth is a vital part of our team. And tonight, it just kind of wasn't his night in some ways. I thought their athleticism and their it just wasn't there. And I thought Kyle again was so effective with so it was hard to pull him out of the lineup. But you know, it is a feel, and it's going in with a certain direction as to how we want to play, Bruce, and then adjusting based on what I'm seeing or our staff seeing in the midst of the game.
We sat here a couple of weeks ago after a Northwestern loss, and you talked about the need to shorten your rotation. Jimmy got hurt, CJ got hurt. It was a blessing to have a deep rotation. Now you're getting CJ back, and your rotation tonight, the depth of it probably really helped you. Have you seen enough in the interim between that Northwestern loss and now to be more comfortable with a deep rotation going forward?
I think deep in the sense that deeper than maybe what we've played in the past, Bruce, but I don't think we can, you know, play 11 guys, you know, 10 plus minutes. I think there's going to have to be some guys, and that's a challenge. And our guys to this point have really embraced that. So if you're coming in, guys at the end of the rotation, you might only play 5 minutes. You might only play 2 minutes. You might play 7 minutes. But if you play those well, then the next game, you're going to get potentially another look, or maybe the game after that, I'm going to stay with you. But I think that I don't think it's a situation where, it can be where we're playing, 9 or 10 guys, 10 plus minutes. So it will have to be trimmed a little bit as we move forward, Bruce.